So what we're interested is your point of view. So there are no right or wrong answers, basically. It's simply your experience, nothing,
It will
nothing
be
more.
honest answers.
Good, fantastic. Allora, so the recorder is started. So first of all, so we are here because we would like to speak about the experience you have with Repack. And then, so this is why we are interested in your point of view. So the very first simple question is, when it was the first time you ever thought to work with them?
Whoa. Um, well, I think that's about 14 years ago. 14,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
And then in which occasion?
That was a professional vessel. Of course, we had always contacts with them, but we were building something like what you see here in the back of the screen, an
Okay.
um, offshore vessel where we were transporting maintenance personnel for the offshore wind farms. And then we wanted to have a vessel where normally we were doing the hydrodynamics in the States, and the nice lines and workshop drawings with Freepack. So, and then they started for us. The project was called WindCat 101, 101. That's what I did. I think we started in, I think it's really 2008, 2009, something like that.
Mhm. And then how did you meet them? So where did you meet them?
We were, um, mm, wow, you're asking a lot of my memory, but yeah, they were. There was one guy in the yard of with Freepack, Robin de Vries, and Robin de Vries was doing a lot of, let's say, nice line draftsmanships within Roesma van Bremen, which was a shipyard in Makkum. I don't know how you. Holland is divided in provinces, and they are in the province of Friesland. Freepack is as well. The shipyard was as well. Um, so there we were discussing the contract to build this boat, and they brought us in contact with Freepack, and from that way, from that moment on, and there was a connection.
Okay. You mentioned that it was for the line. So they designed the
Yeah,
lines. So this is what the main trigger, the way they design.
yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, yes.
Hmm.
And this is always a discussion I have with them. They are very good in, with all respect, and I mean it positively, the nice lady lines. That's where
Mm-hmm.
they're good in. The nice shape, the nice. A boat is female, so they're good in that.
Yes, of course, of course. So you like this the way they designed the way they are
Yeah,
gentle with a
yeah,
woman. Okay, I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, but it is very special what they do, or it is so because you mentioned that the first time, so it means that that are working with them since quite a long time. So you are a repetitive customer, if I say that.
Now, again, I think they're good in that. They tried a while also to do. We did various projects with them, um, and I think you have to choose people where their expert is, and you have to choose design officers where their expertise is. And so we use in the States, which they do not, which Freepack does not like, by the way, but we use in the States specialists for hydrodynamics on multi-hulls. We have catamarans, and that's a professional part because we also do a leisure part vessels with them. Um, but on a professional part, yeah, it's it's two different worlds. The professional world is you have a vessel which need to sail. You're a bus connection. You have to be there every day. So the philosophy of low fuel consumption, easy maintenance, that's key point. Um, and on the hydrodynamic side, we were using a design office in the States, which are the multi-hull specialists, Morelli and Melvin, and they do the upper class, what do you call it, the America's Cup vessels, the foiling catamarans, the crazy fast tools and toys from rich boys. So there we use the hydrodynamics, and we use the lining and the shaping and the beauty we did with Freepack. And then after that, with the big catamaran, Freepack was also doing the construction drawings, so the workshop drawings, breaking out the welding tables, etc., etc. But in my belief, that's not their specialism.
Okay. And then you said that you are also using them for the leisure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We developed. They had developed a vessel which I liked very much in the past. They did that actually in the same time we were doing the Windcat 101. And after a while, oh, how long ago is that? I think that's also about 5 years ago. We started a project where we wanted to design a yacht, a tender yacht based on a Bentley car. And we had very close connections with Bentley actually, and Freepack did. And yeah, and there it comes. Then they come with lines that you think, wow, 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 that's nice, that's beautiful. What a beauty. So that's what we did at that time. It unfortunately, due to the whole Dieselgate, because Bentley is owned by the Volkswagen Audi group, and you know the Volkswagen disaster of the diesel fraud. They had to stop that project, which was a real pity, because we were far advanced. And actually, it's a project we could pick up again, but you always need to do these projects together with the real owner of the name to brand it. That stopped, and then we continued with another vessel called the Q52, which is, yeah, in my belief, size, shape-wise, also a legend in that industry. But I realize we are coming from the professional world, and this is leisure, and leisure and professional vessels is a complete two different worlds. And the vessel you see behind me is based running on hydrogen. As soon as we build those speculatively, and as soon as they are ready, or even during the construction, people want them. We charter them. And yachts is different. You talk about emotion. You talk about the husband wants a blue one, and the wife wants a red one. Well, all these kind of things, which is not so much our world, but yeah, we have to get used to it. And for those leisure yachts, yeah, the nice lines are coming again from Freepack.
Okay. So thank you for what you said. So apparently, so they're very good in designing something that is much more functional as a professional vessel, and then
Uh,
also
I would say the functionality most of the time comes from the operator, and that's ourselves. And then they shape something around it. And that
okay.
shaping, they're good in that shaping.
So you see a certain beauty also in something that is much more, let me use this word, functional.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're okay. So and then there, of course, I can imagine that transforming something, so create something beauty for leisure should be easier in a way.
yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine.
And then it comes to and there we clash sometimes together with him, as positively clash. That yeah, a yacht is something which is created for, especially the smaller ones, created for a use of 100 to 150 hours a year. So maintenance is not so critical, etc., etc. While in our professional world, we maintain every day because we are that taxi bus which needs to be available early in the morning. And yeah, and there it sometimes comes that you think, wow, how can you? And that's then we come to the outfitting, and that's a different job. How do you fit an engine into a yacht is completely different as how do you fit an engine into a professional vessel.
Yeah.
But you have to make use of the spaces on a yacht, and In a professional vessel, you start creating spaces to maintain, and in the yacht, the starting point is different. The starting point is a shape, nice lines, and after that you say, okay, that's the beauty, and now we're gonna, yeah, literally we're gonna put the deck on top of it, and what's underneath, nobody looks at it anymore. That's the
So
difference.
it's a space first in the professional, and
Yeah,
then the lines
yeah,
first in okay.
yeah.
Okay.
At least that's my interpretation.
No, but
And
that
and
makes
and, and in
sense.
some cases, we developed a small professional vessel with them, and we let them do their thing initially, and then in the end we say, "Wow, guys, how can you do this? How can you fit in a 2x1 space a 180 by zero point 0.9 engine in? That's impossible. You can't use it, you can't maintain it, you can't pull the dipstick on to check the oil. And actually, yeah, you're right. We have to redo that. But that's the difference, yachts and professional vessels.
Okay. Before you mentioned we clash sometimes.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about it? So so why you do it? What is the
Yeah.
main reason of the argument?
Um, uh, that we could be sometimes too demanding. Let's say when it's our own company, when we asked suppliers or subcontractors to do something, we expect they take the maximum to make it a good product. And the example actually is what I just told you. They create an engine room where an engine hardly fits in, and then you start trying to let them realize what they did. Yeah, but the engine is in. Yeah, but again, how are you going to maintain the engine now? How are you going to do? And then we starting to become technical. But how do you in your car you sometimes have to check the oil? Yeah, well, that's called when you pull the dipstick. So when you can't reach it, you can't maintain it. So within 2 years, it's done and gone. We have to do that in the professional world every day. In a yacht, an owner in a yacht probably never touches it. So it's a different mentality, but then you try to educate them and say, look, do it better. It has to be better because there will be a time also in that yacht that you have to redo it or exchange an engine and etc. etc.
Apparently, so if you're still working with them, it means they were listening to your advices.
Yeah. It's actually in the Windcats, it's our own design, and they redo it to make it nice looking. Uh, um, and in the yachts, yeah, we converted one of their designs completely. You can refer to that even not anonymous because they know it's the Q52, and now they realize they say, "Wow, yeah, you're right. This is." But that's where some things are functional, some things are practical, and we always say you have to make the right mix of that.
Okay. Um, Sometimes when we face a supplier who is not perfect in something or very good in something, that we have the temptation to move out, no, from the relationship. But you're still, so if they referred you to me, it's because you're still working together. So apparently they were listening to you.
Yeah, and,
Said,
and we were listening to each other, and I think all partnerships, it's like a marriage, it's a bit give and take, and otherwise you won't manage.
okay. Did you ever consider other suppliers of the other design studio?
Yeah, again, as I said, that's what we do. On the professional vessels, we use Morelli and Melvin, the multi-hull specialist in the States, and they are specialists. They are, in some cases, they have different, what do you call, software, different approaches, different means of testing hulls, because they have that client portfolio. When you ask, what do you call the guy from Oracle, the crazy guy? Um, what's the owner of Oracle called? The American. Well, he is a nutcase, but he spends hundreds of millions on his toy, and that's the fastest catamaran in the world. And it doesn't matter what it costs. They put it in a laboratory, in a test basin. They do CFDs, and we make actually what he is paying. We make use of it because more or less we use similar lines, etc. So it's based on your customer base, where you can draw your experiences.
Mhm.
And now, for instance, Freepack is doing the super blooper fisherman's vessel for the Middle East, for Saudi. Well, there they built up a lot of experience in these yachts, and you will see that I'm 100% sure there will be a follow-up on that for them.
Mhm. So you said that Vripa compared to Moroni, they are different. This is
Yeah,
what you like. This is why you're using one or the other studio according to the scope of the project.
yeah, and then we combine it again, because then we will use the hydrodynamic lines from Morelli and Melvin, and we use Freepack to to make it a nice mix in the nice lines again. And so it's a combi.
Okay.
We are
So
using in one track sometimes three different specialists
at the same time.
at the same time, same project.
Okay. So you're
And they
getting
don't
the
like
best.
that. They don't like that because one would like to have the mark, I was the naval architect, or I was this, or I was that. Yeah. Actually, we don't mind. We are the owner of the intellectual property. So,
Okay. Um,
and that's what I mean. Sometimes that causes a little clash, but always a positive clash.
but this is this is the most important thing at the end. So what do you think is um, the first thing that comes to your mind? But I think you gave me already. But let me see. Uh, what Vripak compared to the others are better in what Brigade is better than the other, and then what they can improve in order
Well,
to make.
we have sometimes tough discussions. I think workshop doing, so you have to make a distinctions between what is what in a design. And you start with the nice lines, as we say, the lady lines. Um, uh, and then it comes down to engineering and hydrodynamics and performance tables. But when it comes to workshop drawing, so the typical, how do you work out a construction? Yeah, in some cases, I say they're not doing right. So and that's also sometimes what you hear in the construction yard. How uh, how is it possible that they were creating such an construction? And probably there is where you mismatch on professional vessels and leisure vessels. We have to be rugged, strong. We work in 2-3 meter seas, and a yacht. Well, especially the smaller crafts, it's finished. Papa and Mama get seasick, and the children get seasick, and they stay in the port. And so it's a different scope of workability.
Okay.
And when
What
it comes down to construction, of course, everything is based on certain classification rules, Lloyd's Register or BV. But you also could think overthink it for the purpose of the vessel. Make it
Mhm.
stronger or make it lighter, whatever it is.
So, but what you're mentioning comes from the fact that you're working on two different worlds,
Yeah,
so the
yeah,
professional and the leisure.
yeah, 100%.
Because I think that yacht owners who are just doing leisure projects won't have the same I have the feeling, won't have the same expertise, or
Correct.
so they can do this comparison.
Which means they leave it all to the designers. And then it becomes critical.
Hmm. Can you tell me, can you elaborate on that?
Um, let's say my background is also naval architect and
Uh-huh.
marine engineering. So we know about structures, about performances, about strengths, etc. When what you see a lot, and sometimes I see it myself, that at the end of an project, that people selling their companies have money in the bank, and they say, oh, what I would like to do, okay, I'm going to do a yacht, I'm going to design my own yacht. Well, there it comes. You talk literally about people who had a bakery or a butcher or plastic factory, sell their company and start building a boat. Yeah, then you're all in the hands of your good design office, and they are our machines. With all respect, they are a factory selling hours, and have to fill those hours and make it. That's their business. But when you're there as an example, as the baker, with a lot of money in the bank, starting to create his own boat, they have ideas, but then they don't have a clue about what's behind these ideas and how to create it. Yeah, and then you're lost. On one hand, you have a company has to make money in selling hours, and the other one, there's a guy with money in the bank who wants to create something. And when you do not know what you talk about, they create something nice, but in the end, yeah, 100% sure it's never 100% okay. There are failures, there are this, that. But when you do not have the specific knowledge about how to construct something, then you can't reply to them by saying you're doing right, you're doing wrong. In the end, when the project is finished, then you see, wow, we forgot something, or we clash somewhere, or blah, blah.
Okay, so it means that you are a very challenging client for them.
And that's the reason we have positive clashes with them, but always come together. So, and I think that's the good thing of both Marnix and Bart. They understand when you come with the right examples and the right conclusion, they're listening. So,
Okay. Have you ever referred any of your friends to so have you ever referred Vripak to any of your friends?
yeah. Um, let's say I don't have friends who have sold their bakery. So,
Okay. But would you do it?
yeah, but really, as I explained to you, for a certain part of the project,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
probably not for all.
Okay. So I'm sure that you have this kind of always mentioning to them in what they have to improve in here, improve in them. So you take the freedom to guide them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling them what I think, so that's what I know.
You're very, as you mentioned, I will give you honest answers, as you mentioned at the
Yeah,
beginning. So
yeah.
you look very transparent.
I am very transparent. I'm not intelligent enough to remember the wrong things. So
Okay, I see. So let's stay on the leisure side, that is a bit the focus of our research. You mentioned something interesting at the beginning. So the husband wants something, the wife wants something else. So how do you um, create your yacht?
actually, I'm we have redone, and again, you can. This whole interview is based on what did we say? But for me, you can share everything with them. So I even
Okay.
this whole story. Uh, we were because the example of the baker. They have created 10 years ago this vessel, the Q52, and that was based on a beauty, really a front runner in every aspect, but not on the outfitting and the construction. And unfortunately enough, the guy who did it at that time failed. Uh, and another company where they were working for, called Wire, uh, they initially did the first lines for wire, and that's at this moment, I think, one of the best-selling vessels ever in Europe on small yachts. WAGER, perhaps you have known this name. But you in Italy had the name with Riva, Ferretti. But I think at the moment, as a tender builder, wire is one of the top. And the initial lines of the wire are coming from Prepack.
Ah.
And the initial lines of that wire was based on the Q52. So you really wonder why the Q52 was not the success, but wire became the success. That's probably part of the ownership at that time. But we took that Q52 project over after we failed with the Bentley boat. And it took us too long, but we wanted to do it that way, and reconverted that vessel in a different style, better maintenance, easy entrances, boat. And she's ready now. And now we have to go on the market. But my problem is I like to do the engineering and the rebuilding and the building, but I'm not good in selling. I'm not a wholesaler in the real estate in the leisure market. That's difficult. You can build a boat, but you also need to sell it.
But you will, so you're using this, so this boat is for you.
The boat is for us, but the idea is to sell it and to make it an production.
Okay, so to reproduce it and to sell the model. Okay. Ah. So, but you will use it, or you used it.
We use it as a demo on exhibitions, and everywhere where you sail with that boat, you see everybody is wow, never seen this before, blah blah blah, what a beauty. Yeah, that's true. That's the free pack design.
Okay.
When you look at, we did an article with them 3 weeks ago. Perhaps they told you, together with Boat International.
Mm-hmm.
They used that boat for that. So you see a lot of videos, a lot of interviews on board of that boat, because they also see it as the icon what they did 10 years ago. And we only put new blood into it. We give her a blood transfusion.
But so you're telling me that you are mainly an investor in this industry. You're not a typical yacht owner.
Yeah, we are. We own a lot of boats, but that's probably the problem. We like, the hobby is too much boating.
Okay.
I'm born on a boat. I live on a boat. Our profession is boats. We charter boats. We build boats. I'm infected with the wrong habit.
Well,
Already for 4 generations, by the way.
oh, wow. Okay. Where do you originally from? From the...
You know Holland a little bit. You know regional wise, or
No, okay, but you're okay. No.
Regional wise, it's in the area of Amsterdam. But originally, my grandfather was, let's say, director on a shipyard in Rotterdam. They moved before the war to Amsterdam, started their own shipyard in inland vessels. So transport barges, small tugboats, small dredgers, all inland, not at sea. Yeah, and from there you are infected with boating, and that's the reason I studied naval architecture and marine engineering, and
So you
do
have the
what I
salt
do.
water into your veins.
Yeah. Salt and sweet, actually, because the inland barges are on brackish and fresh water.
Okay, I see. So yeah, now it's very interesting, this conversation, because it is taking completely different perspective. Usually,
Yeah,
when we speak with your owners or your charterers,
yeah,
they're basically and uniquely in the leisure part by evidence, and so. What is interesting, so you're kind of the R&D department for them. This is what I can say.
in some cases, yes, we are. I mean, they were built. One of the things we did in the past was building a lot of fishing vessels. small trawlers, huge trawlers, the biggest in the world. Then I was having a design and brokerage office. And then Freepack started to design, I think it's 5 or 6 years ago, also a fishing trawler. I said, hey guys, come on, this is not your comfort field. This is not your business. Take care what you do. You are good in the yacht lines and stick where you are. Do that. Be the best in the world on that field. But I did it out of pride or out of whatever, I don't know. And it became almost a disaster. And a huge clash with very difficult fishing owners. So the owners of the vessel. And then hindsight, you can say, hey, Bart, you see, I was right. That's not what it has to be. They have to learn that do where you're good in. And I even reflected to myself. Do where I'm good in is that building boats. I'm not good in selling yachts. And we need to find people for that.
Okay, I see. Very, very interesting. And then when you because you said that you're also living on a boat, but I'm not sure that you're living on the
it's you have been in Holland or not?
Yes, ages ago, but yes.
We have in Holland a lot of water, and there's a lot of houseboats.
Okay.
So that's just a concrete square thing where you build a house which is floating, and that's what it is.
The float yes, it's a floating something.
It's a huge floating something. Yeah.
But when you use the so I'm sure that you chartered also a real yacht or not?
No, yeah, we did in the past, but not anymore.
Okay, yeah, but you did it also.
Yeah,
And then is there something that you liked about it particularly?
Well, perhaps you feel already in this half-hour conversation that I'm probably in some cases stubborn, and when I'm on a yacht and I see the first thing when I'm on a yacht, and the yachts we chartered was going to the wheelhouse and to the engine room. My wife said, "What are you doing? You have to lay here in the sun and relax and get your drinks and your bites and your food." And I do not have the patience for that. So always when I'm on a yacht, I would like to sail myself. I would like to feel the boat myself. And then you think, wow, how could they created this? You know,
Okay.
it's yeah. What shall I say? I'm probably too much of an engineer, and
You know, a naval engineer, not just an engineer, a naval.
yeah, probably.
Okay, no, but I see what you mean.
So
But
do I fancy and do I like the life on a yacht? No. I can't stay for 2 weeks on a 40-meter yacht and being spoiled with the best food. And no, then I'd rather start sailing and do something. I get more fun out of that.
you have to be on the move.
Different people's different tastes. So, and when
And
we all do the same, we all would have been in this conversation as we are now, the two of us. So.
and then your wife, and then do you have kids?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
so do
Two.
they enjoy this
Now, my
being
son
on
is
the
like
yacht?
me. They like the doing things. My daughter likes. You can leave her on a beach for 2 weeks with a good book and the sun. Sometimes a bottle of water.
So you are a bit, so they are the atypical yacht owner or yacht user. The first one I see something, so you're an atypical one. Okay.
As an example, when we go to Dubai, we always hire a car. We stay in a very good hotel. But the first thing I do always with my son is, where's the next yard? Where's the next port? And that's what we do. So we are infected with the wrong habit, probably. I don't know.
It's part and parcel of your life. It's your
Yeah.
I assume that this is your passion.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, 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 definitely. So, as a last, very last message for Ripak, what do you think they? No, sorry, another little thing. In terms of a relationship with you, so the the personal relationship, is there something they can improve, or what the way they listen to you, the way they relate with you is good? Is there something they can improve or not?
Um, Sometimes during these discussions, what we have, when I comment, then uh, and that's natural, that's human, uh, and everybody needs to defend himself. But sometimes the defending is taking a little bit too long, and then okay, come on, I'm gonna take a cup of coffee. I'm gonna buy some coffee and some cakes. We eat it, and then we forget it, or uh, we start again. And but I do not give these comments to get money out of it, or no, I'm only giving the comments that everybody can become better and make
Okay.
it a better job, better product. But criticism is not. I mean, we probably are all the same. Criticism is not always nice, because you probably made a mistake, and well,
Okay, so they have to listen more in a way that they take it less personally and then make
that's
it
what it is. Never take it personally.
okay. Well, then, is there anything else that you would like to add to this very interesting conversation that we didn't?
Uh, yeah, as soon as this is all ready, I will ask Bart and Marnix about the outcome, what they think of it, because I'm really curious to understand. They sometimes have a very different style um, of a learning curve, of how to put themselves in the picture, or how to create things. I mean, my son Marnix was involved in this whole interview which they did with both international, both international it was, and then they are really creative, and then they come with things. And you say, so what are you going to do? Now we're going to put the Q52 on a jetty. Then we have a pizza oven, and then we're going to create a pizza. Okay, why? Because that's where it all starts. Creating a pizza is creating a boat, is to create a design. And well, I think this is creative, but sometimes I said, come on, guys. But that's probably my practical side. Uh,
Uh,
so
an engineer with a creative mind, so typically rational
yeah,
and
they
rational.
are, especially Manix. Wow, he is creative. He is, but that also brings them to where they are. And I think them two together, they are the right combi,
Mhm.
Bart and Manix.
Yeah, but if you're not creative, you will follow what somebody else have
That's what it
already
is.
done.
That's what it is. You never create something new. Yeah.
So this is something that I really love with in creativity. So people are endowed with looking at things that are for them they're obvious, and then for us they don't even exist, but they are there, and then they
There's a
see.
very old saying about Mr. Ford. So the Mr. Ford himself, the one who was building the cars, uh, and I think this is 18 or 1915 or 1920. Uh, in an interview where he says, actually, it wasn't an interview. He was more telling people, um, and it came out. I think that it's a real famous saying, but it comes down to when I would ask my client what car they would like to drive, they were still riding a horse. You understand what he said? So when I
Okay.
only ask my client, then they stick to where they were used to.
Yes.
And when you don't have that creative mind, the world will remain as what it is today.
Yes, and then he had this vision to see something
Of
that we
building a car with four wheels with an engine in it, instead
yes,
of riding a horse. Yeah.
this is the this once again. So this is the most interesting thing to me when I deal with creative people. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you get a lot of energy out of it.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
I'm a bit more creative than rational, actually. I'm not an engineer, so maybe for me it's a bit easier. But okay. So really thank you so much for your
you're welcome.
precious time.
It took some time. Sorry for that, but
No, 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 no. But we know that you are, of course, you are super busy. Actually, we are not in rush. We so now so you are our 126 yacht owner.
whoa,
Yes.
really? 126 already. Wow.
Yeah, we were talking, or charters or owners or private jet flyers. Actually, we are talking with a certain level of customers and from all over the world. So we know that takes time, because you're of course all super busy. But we are getting so much out of every the conversation, and then so it is a precious moment for us. So I
Good.
really thank you.
Glad we could do something.
Yes, so we will, if you want, when we will finish this come si dice, this study, we need to reach for specifically for VRIPAC 12, 10 to 12 people as soon as we will get that. So we will be able to finalize our research. So if you want, we can come back to you and share with you the executive summary to see a bit the results of this conversation if you want.
Always good to do.
Good.
Yeah.
So I wish you a lovely day. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
precious time.
Okay.
Bye.
Hope to see
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.